ETM Hotep, Rennie Sean, welcome in peace. My name is Sean. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the Mossi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. As stated before in a previous episode, I am going to bring forth a little bit more West African history dealing with the kings and different kings of West Africa in different countries. And in doing so, this is pretty much the introduction to a long list of different African kings and rulers of West Africa that many people may not be familiar with. Please like the show, share the show, tell a friend that we're live. I'm not going to keep everybody long. I'm going to get right into the bill. I do want to say peace to the chat. Make sure you go pick up your copy of Spear Masters by Kofi Paisai Research Team. It's our volume 4 project. And also what SARS-CoV-2 taught me. But please get your copy of Spear Masters. The link is in the description of the video. So again, this will be a series, and just gonna build on, and then maybe you might see a little small semi-presentation or whatnot come out of this. But I just want to introduce you guys to one of many kings. And actually, in this first episode, we're going to deal with a bunch of kings, and I'll explain this later, but there's a reason why I'm doing it in this particular manner. Is because not much history is actually dedicated to specifics of these particular rulers, and there's a reason why, and you will hear about this after I name the names. The first of the kings who ruled over it was Zuwā Aliman. And this is specifically in reference to the Zuwā, or some say the Za Dynasty. So Zuwā, or Za Aliman, was the first ruler, or the first king of the Zuwā Aliman. Then there was Zuwā Zakoi. Then there was Zuwā Tukoi. Then Zuwā Ikoi. Then Zuwā Ku. Then Zuwā Alife. Then Zuwā Baye Kuma. Then Zuwā Bi, or what you may say Bay. And then you would have the 11th would be Zuwā Kare. Then Zuwā Yama Kare. Then Zuwā Yuma Duku. Then Zuwā Yuma Kibu. Then Zuwā Kakure. Then Zuwā Kin. These were all the rulers of the Za Dynasty. And if you noticed anything that I said first, I would mention the location, the Za, right? And then I would mention the name behind it. All right, now these 14 kings all died before the coming of Islam. I'm going to say that again. These 14 kings all died before the coming of Islam. None of them believed in God and his messenger. May God bless him and grant him peace. The first to convert to Islam was Zuwā Kusoi, called in their language Muslim dam, meaning he became a Muslim of his own free will without compulsion. May God Most High have mercy on him. This took place in the year of 400 in the Hijrah, or the year of the prophet. May God bless him and grant him peace. Next, there was the Zuwā Dari, then Zuwā Hin Kun Wakadam, then Zuwā Beye Koi Kima, then Zuwā Koi Kimi, then Kuwa Nita Sane, then Zuwā Baye Kanye Kinba, then Zuwā Kanye Shin Yopu, then Zuwā Tib, then Zuwā Yamadeo, then Zuwā Fadeza, then Zuwā Ali Kur, then Zuwā Ber Faleku, may God Most High have mercy on him, then Zuwā Yasiboy, then Zuwā Daru, then Zuwā Zunku Baru, then Zuwā Bisi Baru, then Zuwā Bada. All right, so again, before the coming of Islam, there were 14 kings to rule the Za Dynasty. The first king to convert to Islam was Zuwā. He was called, in their language, the Muslim dam, meaning he became a Muslim of his own free will without compulsion. Now, then, after the Zuwā Bada, which was the last king to rule, then the first Sunni Ali came to power. So there was a political shift after the Zuwā or the Za Dynasty rulers. They now have taken on the name of Sunni, which would be similar to a political move from, well, nah, we'll get into that at a different time. Now, let's get this going. He it was who served the yoke of the dominion place of the necks of the people of Songhai by the people of Mali, and God Most High assisted him in doing that. Then the Sultan who came after him was his brother and close associate, Silman Nare. They were both sons of Zuwā Yasiboy. You remember when I said that? Zuwā Yasiboy? These are his sons. Yasiboy was somewhere along the thick lines going back a little bit. Okay. Yasiboy, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yasiboy was the 5th to last Za ruler. Okay. Now, then there was Sunni Ibrahim Kabe, and then Sunni Uthman Kanafa, then Sunni Bar Kanye Ankanbi, then Sunni Musa, then Sunni Bakar Zuku, then Sunni Bakar Dala Bayombu, then Sunni Mar Kere, then Sunni Muhammad Deo, then Sunni Muhammad Kikuya, then Sunni Muhammad Far, then Sunni Ki Bith, and then Sunni Mar Fi Jule Jim, then Sunni Mar R Kanye or Kuna, then Sunni, then Mar Aradin, Sunni Suleiman, Sunni Ali, Sunni Baru, whose name was Bakar Deo, then after him, Askia el-Hajj Muhammad. As for the first kings, Zuwā Aliman, the origin of the term is Yah min Aliman. He came from Yemen. It is said that he and his brother left Yemen, roaming over the earth of God Most High until fate brought them to their town of Kikuya on the banks of the river Songhai. Kikuya is very ancient, having existed since the days of the Pharaoh. Indeed, it is said that it was from there that he assembled the sorcerers for the trial of the strength with him who God spoke upon him be peace. They reached Kikuya in a dreadful state, hardly recognizable as human beings, blistered, dirty, and naked. Save for some tattooed skin covering their bones, they stayed with the folk of the town who asked them where they had come from. The elder of the two said, Za Aliman. So the people took to the calling him Zuwā Aliman, altering the name because their dull non-Arab tongues found it difficult to pronounce. He dwelt with them and found them to be pagans who worshiped nothing more than an idol. The devil would appear to them at certain times of the surface of the river form of a fish with a ring in its nose, and they would gather round it and worship it. The fish would issue commands and prohibitions, and people would disperse and execute its commands, avoiding what it had prohibited them. On such occasions, Zuwā Aliman would be present. Now, when he realized that these folk were in manifest error, he secretly made up his mind to kill the fish and set his heart upon so doing. God aided him in this, and on the day of the fish appearance, he threw an iron harpoon at it and killed it, whereupon people paid homage to him and made him their ruler, because he killed the fish. People said he was a Muslim and that his descendants apostatized after his death. We do not know which of them first did so, nor do we know when Zuwā Aliman quit the Yemen, nor when he reached them, nor what his true name was. The expression became a proper name for him in his first part of the Zuwā, a title for those rulers who succeeded him. They bred and multiplied to such an extent that only God Most High knows their number. They were distinguished by their strengths and prettiness and bravery, and by their great height and heavy build. All who have acknowledged of their circumstances and are familiar with the accounts related to them are aware of this. As for the first Sunni Ali his story is that he and his brother Silman Nari, both sons of Zuwā Yassibor, lived with the Sultan of Mali and were in his service. Originally, the name Silman was Suleiman, but it was altered by the non-Arab tongues. Their mothers were full sisters. Ali Kulin's mother was called and Silman Nari's mother was called Fatih, and she was the first wife of their father. She spent long married to him, but did not give birth and despaired of bearing children. So she said to her husband, "Marry my sister, Perhaps you will have some offspring from her, since you have her none from me." So he married for they were living in the pre-Islamic ignorance, not knowing what they could not both be married simultaneously to the same man. Then, by the power of God the Most High, on the same night they both conceived, and on the same night both gave birth to male children. The two children were set on the ground in a dark room and were not washed until the following morning, as is their custom with children born during the night. The first one to be washed the following morning was Ali Kulun, and hence he was considered the elder. They then watched Silman Nari, and he became the younger. When they reached the age of service, the Sultan of Mali took them, since the Songhai rulers owed obedience to the rulers of Mali. Since it was customary for sons of subordinate rulers to serve them, this custom is in force among all the sultans of the Sūdān down to the present time, some returning home after their period of service, and others remaining where they were until they died. The two brothers were at court from time to time, and was customary. Ali Kulun would go off to seek his fortune and then return. Now, he was extremely intelligent and clever, and he began to extend his absences so that he got close to Songhai territory and knew all the routes traversing it. He nurtured the idea of rebelling and fleeing to his land and began artfully preparing himself for the gathering of necessary arms and provisions and hiding them along his route in places known only to him. Then he explained things to his brother and revealed his secrets to him. They gave their horses the finest fodder so that there would be no fear or their weakening or failing them. Then they set off in the direction of the Songhai. When the Sultan of Mali realized what they had done, he dispatched men to pursue them and kill them. But every time the Sultan's men caught up with them and fought them, the two brothers routed their pursuers. This happened several times, and the Sultan's men met with no success. Thus, the two brothers finally reached their homeland. Ali Kaloum became Sultan of the people of Songhai and took the title Sunni. He severed his people's ties of subordination to the Sultan of Mali, and when he died, his brother Suleiman Nari succeeded him. The authority of the Sunnis extended merely to Songhai as its constituent territories and was enlarged only under the supreme oppressor Sunni Ali, the tyrant, who was more powerful and had more soldiers than any of his predecessors. In his expedition, he subdued many lands and became celebrated in both the East and the West. God willing, we shall speak of him later. He was the last of their dynasty except for his son Abukar Do, who succeeded him after his death. Shortly thereafter, Askir el-Muhammad seized power from him. This is the beginning of the Sunni Dynasty, and we'll get into the rest of them later. I appreciate everybody tuning in. This is an introduction to the kings of Songhai.